Welcome, Pathfinders, to our special field report Paizocon 2018 edition. I am Rick Sandage. I am joined by 3/4 of the rest of our podcast because Heather has turned into a pumpkin as it is like 10 o'clock here. So
okay, it's like midnight our time, local time, so
yes.
there's that. So it's a little
true.
bit later.
We're on day 2, there's no excuse.
Not to mention we're in a hotel room with a couple of snorers, so sleep is not to be had.
Things behind the scene, find the pathland.
Yeah,
behind the Pathland. There you go. A little behind the scenes look at the trials and tribulations that we, as adventurers, must face when we make the epic trip to what is Seattle? The Emerald City? The Emerald City of Seattle.
Apparently it's also Oz.
It's also Oz. That's fine.
That makes sense.
So yeah, we are actually on day 2. We have just finished the Paizo preview banquet. Here over the past couple of days, we've all gotten a chance to play test some of the second edition game. Sadly, with the exception of Rachel. But the rest of us have gotten a chance to play test some of the second edition. So we figured we'd banter with you guys a little bit about that, about what we saw at the preview banquet, and generally how happy we've been with what I consider to be one of the better Paizocons. So
Well, we missed last year, so...
You missed
You
last
two
year.
missed last
Sorry.
year. We were here.
Somebody was getting married.
Find the Path has covered every Paizocon since its inception.
We did do an unboxing.
Since our inception, not Paizo's.
Not Paizo's, ours.
Ours.
I was gonna say,
We haven't
man,
been here 11 years. This is the 11th
man,
Paizocon.
we just forgot to record for the first 9 years. Okay.
Retcon.
We were
but-
asleep. Right on.
But
Alternative facts.
if you
Moving
could
on.
not tell from Jessica's excited hand grab,
No. Druids.
that's what I was getting to.
Okay.
First of
That's
all,
the excited hand grab.
the third spell list in 2nd edition Pathfinder is the primal spell list, which is the list that the druid casts off of.
There's also the Arcane and Divine.
Correct.
And a 4th one. I can't remember what it is right now.
Is there a
Go
4th
on.
one?
I think there is.
Anyway, who cares? No one cares. Only the primal one matters. Because the druid can now take a spell called Dinosaur Form that lets you turn into a dinosaur.
And apparently this was mixed with airwalk, so it was a flying dinosaur killing thing.
A flying Tyrannosaurus Rex.
In one of their playtests.
No,
yes.
it was a Triceratops.
Triceratops.
Whatever.
Triceratops.
It doesn't matter.
I saw Allosaurus, Triceratops,
Triceratops.
Tyrannosaurus.
T-Rex is on there.
Rex.
I hope Velociraptor's on there because I just
There's
want to
a
be a
Stegosaurus. There's
raptor.
a
Now, if it's a legit velociraptor, though, it's going to be bitty.
Sure, but if... No. Jurassic Park raptors. So that you can pretend you're playing the, 1995 Sega Jurassic Park game and kill all the people. I guess you won't kill all
Because
the
Rick
people.
quickly thumbs through his pictures.
I looked at
that
it,
we
it's really
posted
hard
on
to
our
read.
Facebook,
It's
by
also
the
on
way.
my Twitter.
Ankylosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Dinosaurus. No.
What?
uh,
They got really
It's
bored.
Alright,
really.
hang on.
There's a Stegosaurus on there too.
Uh,
It's a little blurry when you zoom
Tiny
in.
Young. God,
Tiny Young. Let me see.
Lord. I'm bad with dinosaur names.
Deinonychus?
I was actually not a huge dinosaur fan as a kid, so
I used to
learn,
know all the
like,
names of every dinosaur.
Yeah, I know you
Look.
did.
Where are we looking?
We're all gonna. Okay.
Anyway, dinosaurs are a thing that you can become.
Yes, there is a dinosaur.
Should you
shape.
choose to be a druid and should you take this spell? I don't know what spell level, I don't
Deinonychus.
remember. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I see.
I don't
Hold
know.
on. It's a 4th level spell.
Wow, that's shockingly low.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a.
Melissa.
Okay, so it's not. Is it a spell or is it a?
It
like,
said spell
it's-
form.
it's a spell.
Oh, okay.
So a 4th level spell that lets you turn into a big old dinosaur, like a large sized dinosaur that can just destroy everything.
So far we've had the opportunity to, during the banquet we got a chance to look at some of the druid stuff, which included the druids being able to choose different paths to go down. I believe there was orders, yes.
Yeah.
I believe there was a plant one that lets you do things with plant, a wild one that gives you wild chip at first level.
Yeah, at first.
First
that
level,
was
which
surprising.
was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
storms.
Dinosaur and other things.
Yeah, storms gives you elemental ones. Then
powers.
animals gives you the animal companion. So not all druids will have animal companions.
Correct.
Well, I liked that they changed the animal companion up a little bit. So instead of just here's my animal, go fight, you actually get to do stuff with your
Yeah, they
animal
can
companion,
give
and
you
that's awesome.
bonuses.
And they appear to be a little modular. Heather compared it, as she compares most things, to the summoner. And
Always.
a little bit of the Eidolon there. So
She would
it
prefer
looks,
the summoner. Is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we've gotten a chance technically to see with that look, and we posted up to our Facebook page a number of pictures that managed to snap since we were sitting right on top of that. So good get, Dean, behind the camera there. He's thumbs upping me. we also got a chance to, in the play tests, I got to play a fighter. Valros, the iconic fighter, also got to take a look at the other 5 classes available, which other than fighter were the alchemist, the cleric, the paladin, the wizard, and the rogue. All of which looked to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I played the rogue, or no, I did not play the rogue. That's weird. I played the cleric, and the flexibility with the 3-action economy is very cool. You can like spend an action to heal someone that's on the ground, and you can spend 2 actions to cast a second spell, or to run over to someone that you need to like be a medic on, or whatever. Like it's cool because you're not just like, well, I guess I'm gonna cast a spell. The end.
Yeah, I got to play Wizard, and the 3-action economy thing it just totally changes how you play Wizards, because as long as I didn't make an attack spell, I could actually do another attack. So I played an elf wizard, so I actually had like a bow proficiency, so I could cast a spell that required them to make a save and then do an attack without any penalty. So I basically got to attack twice. It was wonderful.
And now, sadly, Rachel did not get to play, although I think you're going to like the rogue from what little I saw of the
It
rogue
looks cool.
in play.
It looked cool.
It looked like it was a lot of fun.
I was just hesitant because we went to the Q&A earlier, and one of my first characters was a 2-weapon fighter, and by the end of it, I'm hitting 7 attacks in one round, and so then they were like, it's only 3 attacks, and I'm just kind of like,
You're not gonna do that anymore.
I know, and so I was a little hesitant.
To be fair, I would not be surprised if the fighter gets an extra attack option at a later level.
I'm thinking it might be part of the feats.
I really think that.
Yeah, Jason Bullman did say something about a feat, like a double slice kind of a feat,
Yeah,
where
you
you
did
could
mention
swing
that.
twice with 2 actions.
If you're 2-weapon fighting,
Yeah.
that you'd be able.
But they
to...
wrote that your highest attack bonus.
Yes, he did say
and,
that,
like,
but then the next ones would be the lower bonus.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I could get by with that, because I love my fighter characters.
We know.
Do.
This is not new.
And having had the chance to play the fighter, I found the fighter to be very interesting. Far more mobile than a fighter normally is. The sudden charge ability that he has is interesting. And while we didn't get a great deal of information about 2-weapon fighting, we know that it's still an option. And so, I'm intrigued by that. So far, I'd say the 2nd edition playtest, we of course have our reservations. Residents.
Almost
Residents.
exclusively residents.
Pretty much
Yeah.
exclusively residents. But that is what the playtest is for. And so going into that, we did get some information pertaining towards the upcoming playtest that we're going to send out to all of you guys. So first off, the playtest is going to start in August. It's going to start the same weekend as Gen Con. It's going to drop at the same time, or the Doomsday Dawn. Is that correct?
Starts on August 2nd, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the same time that they're going to be releasing the playtest. And what this is an adventure. I think it was 96 pages. Is what
Yeah,
this
so
is.
it's
7 parts.
7
yeah.
parts, yeah.
In 7 parts, where you get to make a character. This character, you're going to play through each of these 7 parts. Paizo is going to be doing a, I guess, just kind of a play test or a review online that you can go and then fill out a questionnaire and forms and everything else for both the game master as well as the players.
And a general one.
Yeah, and they're going to have, so they've said that there is one character that's going to go through 3 parts, and then the other parts you're actually going to be given some kind of restrictions around character creation. So something like, okay, they have to, maybe take a specific feat, or they have to be from a certain area, something like that, to test different mechanics. So the entire part of each of the 7 pieces is around testing some kind of mechanics. So one might be, say, more social, one is more combat, one might focus on traps, I don't know, something like that.
Now, the one thing that they seem to be comfortable sharing, even though James Jacobs may have let a little bit more than that slip in a later interview, but we won't expose James for letting that out to the rest of us. The first adventure takes place apparently back in time, as far as the current progression of the adventure path, back in 4707, so 10 years ago, just before the Swallowtail Festival, which for those of you who have played The Rise of the Rune Lords is the launching point for the very first book of that, Burnt Offerings. And so I think I've heard between 1 month and a week, depending on which person we were talking with. But gets to start just before that. And so you're going to get to actually go back and revisit these previous ones. Jordan, we do know that it has some tie-ins to a book that you've run before.
Yeah, so if you follow me on Twitter, we did this 30-day question thing, and they asked what was my favorite module I've ever run. and it is the Entombed with the Pharaohs and the Packstone Pyramid, which were old 3.5 modules. They were, journey ones that were set in Osirian, where you're going through and learning about the 4 pharaohs of Ascension. They have said that if you've played through that, there was a mention of this clock that's kind of in a pyramid that's counting down. They don't know what.
The Doomsday Clock.
It's called the Doomsday Clock, yeah. Well, that's going to be featured as part of this.
It's called the Doomsday. Blah, blah, blah.
Dawn, yeah. But so if you were in there when I was actually in there and they said that, I actually let out a verbal ah!
He was so scared.
Because that, to me, it was just oh my goodness, I've always wondered what was that for. So this is like a dream come true.
I'm also personally excited about it because it has a tie-in to the Dominion of the Black, which I know have been featured in a number of things previously. So for those of you who are fans of extra-dimensional things, or Starfighter fans, since the Dominion of the Black is an issue for you guys.
Yeah.
This will give you a chance to play test this, answer Q&As. Each of these adventures are designed to be able to be finished in what they said is either one long session, like a 9-hour session for people that do that, or 2 shorter sessions, which would probably be something along the lines of what we do.
Yeah.
And then you could then subsequently review it. Each of the players could go and fill out a questionnaire and then get their feedback. Each of the adventures, I believe, is supposed to be set around one of the new features of the book. So you'll have, it sounds like, at the very least, one of them sounds to be like a pirate social gathering. Skills, combat, of course, I'm sure there's going to be lots of combat. And it will actually jump not only through time, because by the time it ends, you will have gone from 4707 to 4718, but also through level, as you will get to play all the way up to 17th level characters at the end to get a test or a taste of high level play. Now, there's a lot I think we could talk about what we've learned on 2nd edition.
Oh my goodness.
As far afield as weapon and the master quality of your weapons, or heck, even economy, which apparently now silver pieces are the primary economy of the time.
It makes a lot more. It's a
It
lot
does
less
make a lot more
egregious and ridiculous.
To be fair, most people, when I tell them it's and you find 1,300 copper pieces, they go, great, 13 gold. And write down 13 gold.
It's fair. Coppers might matter.
Coppers might matter. We might actually be using that for something. So, thus far, I've had a lot of fun at Paizocon. I think my favorite... honestly, I think my favorite panel, and this is a little bit of a shout out there, might have been the live play of the Glass Cannon when they finished the 2nd edition playtest with Jason Bowman. Jason Bowman was killing it. As funny as the Glass Cannon guys were, Eric Mona was hilarious. So he might give you guys somewhat of a run for your money. And Jason Bowman nearly did what Troy LaValle has yet to manage, which would be TPK the GCP.
Spoilers.
So, yeah.
Minor spoilers.
Just
Minor spoiler.
Yeah.
Go tune in to see whether or not it happens. What about you guys? Favorite panels?
Ooh, man, I really like that panel. If you actually listen to the recording, you'll probably hear me hacking and coughing from laughing so hard. So, but I also really liked. We went to a panel. I don't know. Was it just the two of us and Heather? Or
what panel was it?
Sorry, it might help if I say that. The Designing Faiths.
That was just us. That was the best panel.
So it was basically Owen Casey Stevens, James Case, who's one of their editors, and I don't remember the last girl's name. Do you remember her last name?
What's her first name?
I just shut. I don't know.
She had silvery gray hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could tell you what she looked like because
she was really cool.
Yeah, but anyway, they did here's how we think about when we design faiths and kind of a little bit of the history around it and how some of them have evolved over time. Let's do Mad Libs on how to make gods. And they literally went through a Mad Libs that Owen Casey Stevens had printed out that we just put random stuff together, and then he actually kind of worked with us to make here's what this pantheon could look like, and this is a good god, and this.
Okay, but I contributed the best weapon, which is the feather.
For a holy weapon.
For the holy weapon of the confused, the deity of prisons, sports. Although I definitely specified badminton. So badminton, prison. Wait, did I say prison?
Yes.
And
Prison,
gambling.
badminton, and gambling. His holy weapon is the feather, and his holy animal is the hummingbird.
Yeah.
And so then we had to do some lore creation, and
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, with a feather token.
just a feather.
Oh. Okay.
And then there was this whole debate of what does a feather mean?
Oh no, it got super
Is a
philosophical.
feather his wits. Like maybe he won these domains in a gambling match with other deities,
that
and
makes
like he
Yeah.
defeated a champion by saying they had to fight with feathers. I don't know. It was pretty intense.
And
And the
shout out,
god sent him to prison.
and shout out to Owen Casey Stevens because like he got like the most random stuff ever, and immediately was like weaving it together into a
They
into
all
a
did
thing.
that.
And
They all did that.
I was just like blown away because I'm not a creative person by
Well,
trade. So
OK Stevens is or Owen Casey Stevens, Owen Casey Stevens is he is the head of Starfinder and everything else. He is really good at coming up with that.
Mhm.
I understand that he's conceptualized a whole lot of stuff for the Starfinder, not just the rule set, but for the setting stuff as well. And so the man's brilliant.
oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a great panel.
Is that your favorite so far as well, Justin? You seem very happy with that.
I mean, that was pretty good. A lot of panels were really good. I'm gonna go with it was like a whole blur today. The Galarian Evolution panel. So this
Oh, yeah, that
was
was
James Jacobs ran this one with
Mark Moreland.
Mark Moreland. And it was about what's going to happen in the world of Galarian as opposed to the rules, although this came up a little bit, but it was interesting. There was a lot of conversation about the fact that they were looking to expand the places that they set their adventures, which is something I've been wailing about for a very long time.
I believe you made a very excited face.
Yes. Because they're going to do maybe some Voodran things, maybe some...
I believe the exact words were definitely Voodra.
Definitely
and then
Voodra.
kept going.
Yeah, specifically
We're holding you to it.
I was gonna say
James Jacobs.
specifically
So-
mentioned Boudra.
It's looking like they're going to start, like, listening to, like, where can we set adventures that aren't Chiliax or Varesia? And that would be great, because those places are cool, but I'm kind of ready for new places, honestly.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was cool. We learned some other stuff, but that was the main highlight of it.
Unfortunately, I know Rachel's been fighting with jet lag and migraine, and apparently Seattle does not agree
Yeah.
with Rachel this year. But you did get to go to some panels.
I did. I'd say there are two that are kind of on the top of my list. Not the designing face, but we went to designing monsters
that's good.
together, and that one was
Yeah,
really
that was
good. And we also got to see Taylor, who I think is the artist.
Taylor
behind-
Fisher.
Yeah,
Taylor
Taylor
Fisher.
Fisher.
Who was actually drawing this crazy like spider creature that pops out weird head things or whatever, like while they're doing the whole discussion, and she's amazing.
Oh, I had a hard time actually listening to them talk about like, what special
Yes.
abilities. I'm just like
Watching
flabbergasted
her
while she's
draw
drawing.
is
She's
just-
so
it was-
talented.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. If you get the
and then-
chance to go to any of those concepting or designing panels,
Yeah.
they're always amazing. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you're concepting or designing.
Yeah, and then probably a close follow up would be the Greg Vaughn Celebrity Gaming.
Yeah, that was really good.
We've gone I think every year except for last year because we didn't come.
Yeah.
We didn't come.
We went last year.
Yeah, we did go last year.
But it's always just a riot to watch them just be ridiculous.
They
We're laughing
did
our butts off.
they did the God, what does he call it?
The Tower of High
No, but he does like the thing with
Sophistry.
he does the thing with the bag they take
Yes,
around
the
the audience.
resolve.
Yeah,
where
the
you
Resolve system.
the resolve gaming
Shout out to Greg
system.
Vaughn there.
Yeah, and then because you had Prognathius and
Of
Ostar,
course.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the same characters again. It's just what they do with them. The owl turned out
Ostog,
to be like the most exciting part of it.
Reslane.
Yeah, so that one was pretty awesome.
And Taylor Fisher won, I think. You guys got a commission.
Yeah, we commissioned
Yes.
a couple of things from her. I commissioned my Starfinder character, Visesh, who is the sweetest cinnamon roll.
And I commissioned one of my favorite Pathfinder characters, Theodora, which is my halfling investigator
From Rise of the Ring.
from Rise of the
So
Red
essentially,
Wolves.
when you come to
Yes.
Paizocon, they always have an artist that's a guest,
Yes.
and that artist usually sets up in the shop so that you can commission them
Yes.
for portraits. It kind of ranges, depends on the artist. But
And Taylor has worked on Occult Adventures, Starfinder heavily,
Curse.
and
And
the
while,
hardcover. Yeah.
And while Wayne Reynolds is doing all the interior art as well as the cover for the Pathfinder playtest, apparently, I don't know if you caught that she
Yeah.
did the border work on the
Yes.
entire
Yeah.
the inside of it, which is great looking. You can see some of that on our Facebook page. We posted up some pictures.
Yeah.
Sure. There was also Starfinder stuff.
Yep.
You know, they announced the next couple of Adventure Pass. They're gonna do
Signal of Screams.
something. They're doing like threes.
And then
That was not the first
something
one.
Aeon
though.
one.
The
Yeah.
Aeon Throne.
They,
Yes.
Something Aeon. You're gonna fight some Aslanti.
Yes.
In that one, that's a 3 month, and then the other one's a 3 month. So 1 through 7, and then 7 through.
And then it was the 6 month one, the one that does the invasion of the sun.
Yes,
thing?
the 6 month one is about invading the sun, but I don't remember the name. But it did have like a
I
bitchin' demon.
Sorry, my
Oh,
memory.
I think that was in a free.
And a
Because it
freeze?
looked a whole lot
It
like.
looked
Oh no, that was
It
totally in a
looked
free.
like
Yeah,
Javul.
it looked
Okay,
a lot like
so it's like
Javul,
Jawool's cousin, like Romeo.
It could just be.
You're welcome for the idea.
It could just be Javul. What if someone wished Javul back?
Oh, that would be super cool.
That makes me so angry.
Be a great
God,
nod.
that guy.
Now I really want that to happen.
He wasn't even that great.
But no, my memory of what was announced kind of went out the window because they talked about the armory that's coming out.
Oh,
Which,
yeah.
as somebody who loves Ultimate Equipment, was a huge
There's a
thing.
gun that looks like a creature with like a little face and like tentacles. I don't know what kind of gun
All
that's
I
gonna be.
remember saying was,
I hope it just shoots squids.
oh no,
I do too.
I literally was just like, oh goodness, there's a squid gun.
And I need it immediately.
Yes, so it better be the most powerful gun in the game.
And
So
it
it's amazing.
did look like you might have gotten your gun in there.
The noisy cricket.
The noisy
Noisy
cricket.
cricket.
It looked like there was a little noisy
Oh,
cricket
yeah.
in there.
There are some small guns. Maybe.
They
That's
also
that's got to be like a legendary like
It's gotta be,
artifact.
yeah.
Noisy cricket.
there's that. There's new power armor, which even spellcasters have power
Yeah.
armor.
Yes.
Nice.
The spellcaster
The
Aegis.
spellcaster
Yeah, the
gets
spellcaster
something.
Aegis.
So Sasha's gonna get that.
That was
And
really
proficiency.
cool looking. The art's fantastic as usual for it. Of course, they've got other like things that they didn't really show us.
Alien
But
Archive 2.
there's Alien Archive 2.
with a space llama.
Space Llama?
Apparently
but you
it's
can't
play-
play.
Oh,
no.
okay, you can't
No,
play.
you
okay.
can't play it,
all of them
But it's a
except that
cute
one.
little llama.
Because I was definitely looking there. I was like, "There's no hands. I can't play that."
You can put
Yeah.
rocket launchers on the back of it.
So Animal Companion.
Thought activated
Ah,
rocket launchers.
yes.
Yeah,
Do they
super
have
cool.
animal companions?
But literally the squeals
Give it
in
time.
the group was they showed a new I think it's familiar or a companion that is a mix of a squirrel and a fox
The squawks.
called the squawks.
It was cute. And you can get a little, okay, the Rob McCreary joke is my favorite thing. You can get a little bag, like a little carrier for your squawks,
That's
and they
pet
called it
carrier.
Squawks Pocket.
Just don't put it in the microwave.
That was
Oh,
weird.
it was so funny.
They're very cute.
Just as funny the second time.
Yeah, it is.
But on further Pathfinder news, one, we got a little bit more information about return.
Oh, yeah.
Or sorry, yes, return of the Rune Lords.
It's going to be real good.
The finale to the trilogy of Rise of the Rune Lords and Shattered Star, that apparently is going to involve a wee bit of time travel, which sounds exciting,
Yeah.
as well as some, I guess maybe spoiler here, depends on, well, I mean,
They told us.
as
Well.
well as Grave Knight Rip Nugget.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, you could, like, James Jacobs specifically figured out ways for you to incorporate your past characters if you had played Rise of the Rune Lords.
Yes.
And Shattered Star.
Yeah, but we haven't played that. Also, I will say I was on the fence about it because I don't really care for the Rune Lords that much. But I would like to see my character again, so that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. I also
And time travel.
I really enjoyed the Grave Knight Goblin, which he was like his name is Rip Nugget, and we were all just like, ooh,
Grave Knight Rip Nugget.
very
We
interesting.
have-
But
Good memories of
Yeah.
Grave Knight. I say good, more
Yeah.
funny.
I also,
yeah.
it was kind of a throwaway line that they included in there, but they also mentioned in one of the later books, and this might have actually been one of the panels, that you're returning to Corvosa,
Yeah.
yeah,
which that seems like it'd be
For
very
an
interesting.
event.
very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
That seems very interesting, particularly at this point, 10 years after the,
Curse.
Events.
the end of
Yeah.
Curse of the Crimson Throne.
So that's interesting.
They also announced, as far as Varisha is concerned,
The final
the-
adventure.
oh, sorry, I was
No,
just
we're
going to say the Sandpoint
Oh, yeah.
softcover book
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
for 90 pages of Sandpoint.
96 pages.
If you're really into that.
If you
Yeah.
want
No,
literally
kind of,
building
the
by
cover looks
building.
Yeah, every building
descriptions.
will have a description and like a secret.
And there's
I
like-
don't care.
there's
I
like
just
quests
want to
and-
know
yeah.
about the unpleasantness, the murders that they would not tell us about.
No, we
Like,
know about those.
The late
The late unpleasantness?
No,
Yeah.
we never.
We knew ish.
Oh,
We
we-
did.
yeah, we had that
We
idea.
didn't get
Knew enough.
We got a vague idea of probably what happened.
So
Yeah.
the Sandpoint book seems like it will be interesting. At the very least, it's James Jacobs' pet project. It is what he loves.
I feel like it's probably literally every single scrap of paper they could find about what they've written for Sandpoint.
96 pages about a tiny town.
It really is one of those interesting things. Like, it's almost kind of experimental because, like, if it really sells well, I could see them doing it for other, like, major, cities and towns that are featured prominently.
If they did it for any major town, that would be interesting.
That, to be fair, I could probably see 96 pages on Absalom or Corvosa or any of the other kind of really major cities.
There are, I don't think it's 96 pages. There is an Absalom book.
There's a gazetteer for it and stuff like that. But
anyway.
Which actually brings us to one of the most exciting things, though, which was the final adventure path for the first edition of the Pathfinder line.
Oh my goodness.
Which is titled The Tyrant's Grasp, which all we know pertaining towards it is they featured it with a picture of the Whispering Tyrant.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a spoiler for me, who thought that we were going to put that guy to rest in our
Carrying
Crown.
I never thought we were
going to I was gonna say,
I don't know.
when literally a god and a god's herald couldn't do anything but
rest
lock him up.
But we were dealing with him. I didn't think we were going to deal with him some more.
I'm going to say we're still not dealing with him in the Tyrant's Grasp, not in its entirety.
Because how would we do that?
Unless they announce that it will be the second mythic.
Yeah, I was going to say,
if it's the second mythic adventure path, I could see it.
That sounds cool, and I'm on board.
So, regardless,
Uslav's cool.
That is all we really know about it. It seems exciting. There was a lot of great information, and we still actually have a full day of this left.
There's some...
Which is my birthday.
There's some society stuff. They're doing a nonprofit now for society, and they're revamping it a little bit. But she didn't have any details for that.
She didn't. She wasn't really able to tell us a whole lot about it.
They're kind of waiting on the playtest, so
Yeah,
it's hard for
they
them.
said they were waiting.
Starfinder's got a new thing. Starfinder Society's got a new season.
They're doing they're doing a follow up.
To season 0.
Well, they're doing a follow-up to the first season of Starfinder Society. Starfinder Society is going to be going to 2 modules a month. Starfinder Adventure Paths are going to go from bi-monthly to a monthly release.
Mm-hmm.
And the next Adventure Paths, and I don't know if it's all future Adventure Paths for the Pathfinder line, are going to not feature a third back article, which means that they're going to use those additional pages for adventure content, explaining how they're going to get people to 20th level in Return of the Rune Lords.
You're gonna get to 20th level, and you get to play at 20th level for a while. So that's cool.
That was really exciting. Instead of
he said, don't thank him though, so maybe we shouldn't be that excited.
And the next season for the next and final season for first edition of Starfinder Society, season 11, season 10, the 11th total season, is going to be. Is it the Year of the 10? What was it?
Year of the 10.
Year of the 10.
And it has a Decemberate hat. So
basically it's the Decemberate helmet with a crack, and then behind it is actually the Ruby Phoenix feathers.
So if you're into society, it'll mean things.
I'm guessing,
Which,
Sorry, we're not society players, guys.
I do follow some.
We played a tiny amount.
Yeah.
We played a
We're
little
still
bit.
We played like a
We
module
are still
here and
playing.
there.
I'm playing
We played like a
Cleric
module
of
here and
Rice.
there, but
I don't know what you're supposed to.
I'm not hip to the lore of.
And the card game things are happening with the card game.
Yeah, the card game is also going to be expanding. They're going to have a new rule set, and they are also doing Curse of the Crimson Throne.
Yeah.
We are also hoping to go and do some recording with Ben Looms tomorrow, so maybe you'll hear us on the upcoming Curse of the Crimson Throne sound set with Ben Looms. Our cameraman Dean has already recorded with the man, so if you hear someone that sounds kind of Algerian, that's your guy.
You gotta know what Algerian
if you know what Algerians
If you know what Algerians we'll go ahead and end that off here because we still have a busy day at Paizocon tomorrow, but we'll keep you guys up to date. Anything else, guys? We're good?
No, we're good.
Until next time, good luck, Pathfinders.